Tell me the various stages of the plan that you've proposed.
All Gaza Strip should be closed, and Israel should prevent any entrance of any supply to Gaza. And then the government of Gaza would not have any other choice but to surrender. The number of casualties on both sides could be much lower, and all the hostages could be back. We completed the full encirclement of the northern part of Gaza. And what we should have done to tell all the remaining 400,000 civilians who are living in this northern part that they should leave this area. And they can live through a very clear, safe corridors that we provide. And these safe corridors will continue to be open 24/7.
And how will you determine who's Hamas and who's not?
No, I'm letting everyone to leave, even the combatants of Hamas. Everyone should leave. But after 2 weeks, I will do only one simple thing. I will stop the supply of food, fuel, and other, let's say, important material to this area of the northern part of Gaza. So those combatants of Hamas, we estimate the numbers 5,000 who will stay in this area, will face the need to make a decision between two bad choices, either to surrender or to die in starvation. And this is the most effective way to conquer the northern part of Gaza without the need, number one, to have a very tough battles, without friction with civilian population, and without killing civilians, because all those civilians by that time will be out of this area.
And if they can't leave? Or if they don't want to leave?
If they want to leave, they can easily leave. We are speaking about the need to, let's say, to walk not more than 3 or 4 miles. And in Gaza, there are thousands of NGOs and international forces employees that have hundreds of vehicles.
Wait a second. They're not going to be complicit
No.
in the IDF's war objectives.
Wait a second. They have enough trucks and they have enough ambulances so they can evacuate, let's say, those elderly people, wounded people, or other people.
Why would they do that? Because as soon as they do that, they become complicit in the Israeli military strategy. And therefore, they would lose all legitimacy on the ground in Gaza with Gazan people as an independent aid organization if they start ferrying people at the orders of the IDF.
Okay. If we speak about those organizations, I tend to agree with you that they are full cooperatives, or they have full cooperation with Hamas that began not a year ago.
No, I'm not saying Hamas. I'm saying if they want to be able to operate on the ground and to give aid to people and have a relationship with God, they cannot be seen to be carrying out orders on behalf of the IDF.
Okay, so if they prefer not to do it and to risk the lives of those civilians who will stay there, I think that this is a bad decision.
That's blackmail.
What?
That's blackmail. You're saying either you help them leave, the infirm, the elderly, the young, either you help them by giving them transport, or you're complicit in their death. And if they do help them, then they are effectively complicit in what the IDF are doing. And if they don't help them, you're saying you're allowing them to die.
What is their mission? Their mission is not to make political decisions. Their mission, which they do not comply with their mission, is to help the civilians in Gaza.
But you're forcing them to make a political decision by saying you either help these people leave or you leave them there and they starve.
You know what? Let's start. I'm saying I will not begin the siege before I see what is happening with the civilians.
And what if Hamas will leave? What if they go, fine, we're all going to go down south, we stay, we live to fight another day. Then what do you achieve?
We achieve the most important matter, and this is we conquer easily all northern part of Gaza, and it brings me why it is so important. If I conquer the northern part of Gaza and I possess this area, then I can speak to the leadership of Hamas and I can tell them, look, now I have a real leverage that might force you to release the Israeli hostages. Because if you don't do it, I will not evacuate this area. And you will have to continue and maintain your regime in an area which is by far shorter or smaller than the original one, and you lost this territory permanently.
So you would encircle northern Gaza, put it under a siege, not allow any aid, food, water, fuel, in order to pressure Hamas and starve them.
In November last year, a year ago, we had a very successful and unfortunately the only hostages deal. Why Hamas, that at that time there was no big pressure, military pressure on Hamas, why they agreed to such a deal? There is only one explanation. Before that deal actually was achieved, there were only 2 trucks of supply that entered Gaza. Hamas was desperate. As part of that deal, they insisted that the number of trucks that enter Gaza will increase dramatically from 2 to 200. Israel agreed, and rightly so, because we got hostages back.
But at the moment, your plan is not what's going on in Gaza, in your opinion.
Unfortunately, I mean, I'm not the decision maker in Israel. I'm just an ordinary civilian who might have some ideas, but my plan is not adopted. And if it was adopted, and I say again, I proposed it 11 months ago, the whole situation in Gaza could be completely different.
Would you annex parts of Gaza?
No.
None at all? Buffer zones?
No, I don't think that. Again, it depends on the security arrangements on the day later.